guys, welcome back to the weekly ACR community time trial weekly setup video and track guide. We're on week 2 driving the Ligier Honda Lmp2 race car around Monza. So we didn't have very long to do this setup after YouTube decided to take one of our videos off last week for an unknown reason, and then they put it back on when they've obviously realised there was no reason for it to be taken off. We weren't sure whether we'd be doing this week, so it was very last minute, but I think I've put up a reasonably good setup here. I've got the car running very low downforce and it's handling really nice. I think you guys are going to like the setup. It does have if you really push hard you can lose a rear end obviously, and if you're really pushing hard, but I've done the setup to try and get as much straight line out of this car as possible. This is a time trial event. We've gone for pretty much a 1 lap all out fast setup. Obviously if you're going to make alterations to setup, we'll talk about that when we get there, like adding more brake vents and radiators obviously for the race. But I think as a race setup you may just want to make very slight changes because it's still handled really well. I thought I could consistently put in good laps in, and we spent about, I think it was about an hour and a half altogether pushing the lap for about an hour and a half, and then we thought we'd leave it as the time we got, and let you guys see if you can beat it. You should be able to maybe beat it by half a second or more, so there's time available still. So I'll let you guys have a little watch of the lap playing through now with no commentary, and then we'll go through the proper track guide in slow motion. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so we're going to do a quick track guide now. So approaching turn 1, we're going to be looking to brake just on the 150. You're going to see it approaching now on the 150 there. Look at the cursor on the screen. Going down, make sure you trail brake all the way through this corner to stop any major lockups. Going into the corner, using some of the curb left. We actually used a bit of the curb now, a bit too much on that curb on the left there, and got the power down a bit too early. You see, we had to correct a bit of oversteer. Maybe lost a tenth or two now on the acceleration and the traction zone, but not a massive loss. Going into the next corner, we're obviously going to be going to make sure we get onto this right hand apex as close to that as we can. You want to be travelling the shortest distance possible all over the track, so staying nice and tight into this corner and then letting the car slowly creep out as we come out of the corner, and then working our way back over to the right hand side of the track there. So we get over to the right hand side obviously from the next corner, and then looking to brake just on this board and above us there, this board and above us there on the shadow there, going down into second gear, and we're going to again attack the curb on the left. You want to get this curb just over on the left hand wheel, not too much, otherwise you will unsettle the car, and again using some of the curb there, but not too much, because it's too much and you're going to unsettle the car far too much. Using a bit of the curb on the exit curb there, just to make sure we get maximum speed coming out of the corner. Now braking down for the first Lesmo, you want to really get the car nice and tight in on this corner, use some of the curb if so, and then get on the power as early as you can. Be careful not to let the car run wide there. If you do run wide, you're going to understeer a lot because it's cambered. And again, for this right hand side, getting the curb over onto this curb again on the power as early as we can. A little bit of oversteer moment there, but correcting it nicely. Maybe again lost a very small amount, probably not even a tenth of a second, but still a little bit. Now working our way, use it again, staying to the left hand side of the curb there for minimum distance off on the track, and then looking to brake just under the bridge as we come under the bridge. Not this first bridge, it'll be the second bridge you'll see now. We're going to brake under that board there and use again the shadow as a braking reference. You're going to see there as I show you with the cursor, going down into fourth gear, then into third gear as we approach the curb. Use some of the curb on the left, then get on the power as early as you can. Be careful with the rear end trying to unsettle. Remember, we're running very low downforce into fourth gear before we come out the corner, just to settle the car down a bit and stop the car from understeering wide. And then accelerating flat out now, we're going to kind of diagonal line all the way over to the left hand side. You're not going to do it in one go, you're going to slowly work our way over to the left hand side of the track. Obviously again, keeping more momentum and not making keeping the shortest distance across the track. So going into the final corner, we're going to brake just on the 100. You're going to see it on the left now. I'm going to show you with the cursor there, just on the left there, that 100. We're going to brake down into fourth, then third, and then try and keep it nice and tight again. I always like to keep a nice tight line through this corner and get on the power really early, as it will give you more corner to work with on the exit. So the more corner we've got there, you see we've got the power really early, we've got plenty of room on the left to slowly feed that steering wheel into a straight line. And then we're going to go over the line, and I think it was a 1 minute 39.6. So like I say, there is probably a 1 minute 38 within this track with this setup. We didn't get too long to push it, but I felt like the lap was an okay lap, and it will give you a good benchmark to try and beat. Anyway guys, we'll have a little look at the setup now. Okay guys, we'll have a little look at the setup changes that we made with the car for this track. We ran the tyre pressure slightly lower. What I've tried to do is try to get the PSIs around 26. That is a setting that was on a set of courses, so I've tried to translate that and it seems to be working for me. It seems to get the tyres in a nice range. So you might want to try that with other cars. I'm going to keep testing it and see what I think, but it seems to be working so far. Brake pressure is 90%. Gives enough force to get you stopped fast enough, and also not too much that you're going to lock them tyres up too much. Brake balance 56, 44. Obviously you're going to want slightly more to the front there because over the default, with it being a very fast track with a lot of heavy braking zones. And brake duct openings, we've gone very low obviously as it's a 1 lap time trial setup. Obviously you're going to need to raise them slightly if need be. Downforce, you see there we ran 0 on the rear and 1 on the front. That's just to give us a little bit of turning for the fast corners and maximum speed down the straight. You can see also with the cambers, we've gone very much for a straight line camber set, and we've gone very low on them to get as much straight line as we can. Towing angle on the rear, we had to keep it at 0.3. I would have liked to go lower, but I needed something just to settle that rear end down coming out of some of them corners. I wanted some stability coming out of the corners. We've started to do our setups very similar to the original project cars now, in terms of the suspension. I'm finding it feels very similar. Not many changes in terms of what I feel I need to do. What worked on that seems to be working on project cars too, which is handy. So in general, I tended to go quite high on the slow bumps, and then on the fast bump go a lot lower on the original project cars, and it seems to be working on this. Fuel load, I've been putting that down for 1 for time trial. I don't know if it makes any difference. Sometimes it did on the original project cars. Not every car it seemed to work on, but I just do it now just in case it does. Radiator opening 0% obviously because it's a 1 lap, and it was fine for this. I tested it out with 0% and it worked fine. Didn't need that open at all. Engine braking, left that on 1. Gearing all default. Traction control, I think we did adjust that to 25% for the traction control. Didn't touch the ABS because I don't think this car has ABS, so it doesn't give you an option when driving the car to actually alter it. Differential, we slightly adjusted the differential as well. I didn't feel the need to change any of the bias with this car. It felt really stable to me. What I did want to do is lower the preload so I could actually let that power feed through to the rear tyres a lot sooner when using steering input, and up the power ramp and the load. I think we slightly raised the coast ramp as well. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this video, hope it helps you out. Make sure to check out the links for Actual Vision's community within the description, and take part in the time trial event. Thanks again for watching guys.